Welcome to the podcast. It's Don here. Thank you very much for listening. If you're listening to this on Spreaker or some of the other places where you can hear this, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the red button and the bell for notifications. This is going to be really, really quick. By the way, if you want to help us out a little bit, just drop in a buck or two to our piggy bank, paypal.me/radiodon. That's paypal.me/radiodon. And I've got some, I keep saying this, but I'm just making sure when it's cooked and ready, it's cooked and ready. We've got information on the Patreon coming up soon. So if you want to go there, just, until before the big news, it's patreon.com/radiodon. Now, the reason why we're doing this morning, this early, there's a lot of things I want to get into, but I'm not going to do that right now. Also, I don't know if I'll be able to, but that's another story. A few days ago, we posted a podcast by a gentleman by the name of Darren Smith. He was the midday host of a sports talk show in San Diego on a radio station known as the Mighty 1090. Since that was posted, the following has happened. I really want you to listen to the end because there's very important information if you are a fan of what used to be the Mighty 1090, B, a fan of any of the people who have been on the Mighty 1090, especially the 3 to 6 act on that station, and be anyone who just loves radio, because radio is in a precarious situation right now, and I will address that on another program. I just wanted to tell you what has been going on with the Mighty 1090 since I posted that. And the reason I posted that was Darren Smith did a podcast on April 10th. That was the day that the owners of the tower of the Mighty 1090, the call letters are XEPRSAM, in Rosarito, Mexico, legally. The transmitter is in Rosarito. The station and the programming is in San Diego. And there has been a lot of stuff about whether or not these guys have paid their bills. So because of that, the owner pulled the plug on the Mighty 1090, which left a lot of people really pissed, especially in San Diego, because this wasn't some pay-as-you-go radio station down in the ratings, down on your dial, not really registering, just playing all sorts of vitamin commercials and Christian stuff. This was the number one sports radio station in the city of San Diego with ratings that rivaled the number one sports radio station in Los Angeles. So that happened. And Darren Smith did a podcast talking about what happened. And they did not know where the Mighty 1090 was going to go. Well, guess what? The next day, the Mighty 1090 went back on the air, but not necessarily on the air. They were streaming through their app and through their website. They were still running programs that were on the Mighty 1090. All the ESPN programming that they had. And then something really went bonkers because last week the station, without warning, while a person was on the air doing their stuff, the station pulled the plug on the stream without even a goodbye or anything like that. That was Friday, I believe. A week before this Monday. So on last Friday they pulled the plug. Not last Friday, a week ago. On Monday, a week before this Monday, Callaway Golf, who is headquartered in Carlsbad, California, which is A, not Carlsbad, New Mexico, and B, a suburb of the city of San Diego, invited Scott Kaplan and Billy Ray, the Scott and BR show, and others from that station to come down, and they could do their shows, stream the shows from their studio. And if you've not seen the studio, oh my God. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Excuse me. They spent money on this thing. And I will tell you where to find it in just a minute or so. Long story short, Scott and BR did their 3 to 6 show there, and they have been trying to talk some of the guys from the Mighty 1090 to come down there and stream. And this thing has been just put together very quickly with spit and wire and chewing gum. But basically, Scott and BR from what was left of the Mighty 1090 are now doing a daily show starting at 3. Usually goes to 6. Today it went until 4:30 because there was a previous booking in that studio. They're trying to get some of the old guys back, and the old guys, they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do, because we have to remember something. These guys have been fired, their paychecks have been stopped, and Scott and BR are basically doing this for nothing. And these are people who have bills to pay, trying to figure out insurance, all this sort of stuff. But they're making a go at it, at least the Scott and BR part are. The aforementioned Daryl Smith was on the Scott and BR program today, and they were talking about, come on down, we're having a lot of fun, it's a beautiful studio. He wants to, but again, he's married, he has kids. He said if he was younger and single and I really didn't give a crap about life, I would have done so. That's basically the reality of life. And this whole thing is getting national coverage because basically it is the state of radio. So here comes the part where you tuned in and I ask you to stay here. If you are in San Diego, and you've enjoyed the Mighty 1090. If you are a sports radio fan and looking for some good sports radio, if you believe in radio itself, if you believe in what these guys are doing, and if you are worried about the state of radio and where it's going next, the Scott and BR show is being broadcast on a lot of platforms, including YouTube. To find the YouTube broadcast, all you have to do is search Scott Kaplan. You'll get to his page, and you can like it and ring the bell for notifications. They broadcast every day from 3 till at least 5, maybe 6, and that is Pacific time. I'm sorry, Pacific time 3 to 6. That would be 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. They are also available on Twitter and Periscope. Just connect to them at their mutual accounts, which is Scott ANDBR. That's how you find them on Twitter and on Periscope. They are also on Facebook Live. You can like them at Scott ANDBR or Scott ANDBR Show. You can also find them on TuneIn Radio. Now, there's a free part of TuneIn, and there's a premium, which I pay $10 for. Scott and BR is on the free part, so you can find them there at Scott Kaplan Media. And all this information is going to be on our show notes below the screen when we get this thing all nicely cooked and ready. So once again, if you want to hear the Scott and BR show live, direct from the Callaway Golf studios, on YouTube, just search Scott Kaplan. They haven't gotten a official URL yet, but it is. But just search Scott Kaplan. On Twitter and Periscope, it's Scott ANDBR. Facebook Live, it's Scott ANDBR or Scott ANDBR Show. And if you want to listen to this, just as in terms of just audio only, you find them on TuneIn, the TuneIn app, and you just simply search Scott Kaplan Media. There is still a lot I want to say about this. I only have 2 minutes, and I'm going to cut off right now. But again, if you want to follow me, please hit the red button and the bell for notifications if you're listening to this on YouTube. I thank you very much for listening. We will talk to you soon. Take care.